People are seriously divided right now because that UFC London main event decision is causing a lot of debate. Movsar Evloev gets the win, but not everyone agrees with it. And when you actually look at the fight, you can see why. It wasn't dominant either way. It was close, technical, and honestly a bit messy. But here's where it gets confusing. Evloev had a point deducted and still got the decision. That's what a lot of people are stuck on, because usually once a point gets taken, it completely changes how the fight is scored. Some fans had it a draw, some thought Murphy did enough early, and then you've got fighters, analysts, even commentators, all saying completely different things. So depending on how you saw it, you either think this was fair or you think something doesn't add up, and those are always the fights that stick with people the longest. Welcome back to the Rear Naked Choke. No fluff, no filler, just straight to the point UFC news. And if you're enjoying the content, a quick like helps more MMA fans find the channel. Let's break down what actually happened. The fight started slow, very tactical, very measured. Neither guy really taking big risks early. It almost felt like both of them knew what was on the line and didn't want to make the first mistake. But then things shifted. Evloev started pushing the pace, and we saw those two groin shots. The second one was bad enough that a point got taken, and at that moment, you'd expect the fight to swing massively because mentally, that can throw everything off. But instead, Evloev actually stepped it up after that. More pressure, more control, and he started taking over the later rounds. Murphy even told his corner he popped his hip late in the fight, and you could see it affecting him. His movement slowed, his reactions weren't the same, but still, he kept going. And you've got to respect that, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. And the reactions? All over the place. Some people saying Evloev clearly won, others saying it should have been a draw at best. Even Aljamain Sterling said he doesn't even know how to score fights anymore. That's where we're at right now, and honestly, that says a lot about how confusing judging can be in fights like this. Now, earlier on the card, we had a lot of undefeated records getting broken, and that's always one of those moments where you realize how unforgiving this sport really is. Curtis Campbell came in 8-0. And got knocked out just like that. That's a rough way to make your UFC debut. Axel Soler lost his undefeated record in a war with Mason Jones. And if you didn't see that fight, you missed one of the best moments of the night. That's the kind of fight that reminds you why you watch this sport in the first place. Then you had Iwo Baraniewski, who came in and got it done in under 30 seconds. No hesitation, straight to work. That's how you put the division on notice. Now we need to talk about this fight, because this might have been the most frustrating one on the card. Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. The expectations were high, but the fight just never delivered. It went to decision, and the crowd was booing almost the entire time, and you could feel it through the screen. Even fighters and analysts were calling it out, saying it was a terrible fight. And here's the bigger problem. Now people feel like they've figured out how to fight MVP. Don't engage, stay safe, take away his rhythm, and suddenly, the fight becomes slow, awkward, and hard to watch. That's not a great sign going forward, because once that blueprint is out there, everyone starts trying it. Now, outside of London, Tom Aspinall is finally back in the gym, and that's big, because no one really knew when he'd return after those eye issues. But now he's training again, looking sharp, and getting ready for a comeback, and you can tell. He's still thinking about Jon Jones. That fight hasn't gone away. He said he wanted to test himself against the best ever, but also made it clear it probably came down to money, and that's been a recurring theme lately. And speaking of Jon Jones, he's still going back and forth with Dana White. After Dana said he was never going to be on the White House card, Jones responded, saying arthritis doesn't stop him from fighting, and that he's still capable of beating almost anyone. And when you hear that, it doesn't sound like someone who's done. It sounds like someone who still feels like they've got something left to prove, which makes this whole situation even more interesting. Now, this situation is getting even more heated because of what's happening behind the scenes. Tom Aspinall's manager, Eddie Hearn, has been openly criticizing the UFC, calling Aspinall's contract a disgrace. And when you look at how much money these events generate, you can understand why this conversation is getting louder. More fighters are starting to speak up, more people are questioning things. Even Brendan Schaub came out and said fighters should consider standing together and refusing to fight until pay improves. Now, realistically, that's very hard to pull off, but the fact people are even talking about it shows where things might be heading, and it feels like this isn't going away anytime soon. Now, one name you need to watch closely, Michael Morales, because according to Gilbert Burns, that guy hits different. Burns said after fighting him, He genuinely questioned if he should keep fighting. Let that sink in for a second. That's coming from someone who's fought the best in the world. And he still said Morales might move up to 185 soon. That tells you everything. And finally, Alex Pereira is looking huge ahead of his move to heavyweight. We've seen the footage, we've seen the sparring, and he looks comfortable at that size. Joe Rogan even said his power should carry over perfectly. But Cyril Gane is not an easy fight. Fast, technical, dangerous. And this is a completely different level of size and power. So if Pereira pulls this off, that's not just a win, that's a statement. Alright, that's the latest. Let me know in the comments, did Evloev actually win that fight? And how far does Pereira go at heavyweight? And if you made it this far, drop a like. It helps more MMA fans find the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.